So in today's economy, for a lot of people, it's a real struggle, right? And rightfully so. The fact that some people can't afford food, they can't afford to pay their mortgage or rent, and that's going to cause a lot of frustration for a lot of people. However, there's also a bunch of people, obviously, that are frustrated the fact that because the economy is so bad is that they can't enjoy life the way they want to, right? I talk about this in a lot of my other videos where people are frustrated the fact that they can't live their life, they can't enjoy life, they can't do fun things, and that frustrates, whether it's because things are more expensive or because maybe their job and the fact that their job is taking up too much of their time, and by the time they get out of work, they're tired and they can't do anything. So we've heard a lot of these things. So in this video, I'm going to share with you. I got two videos that I'm going to share with you, and we're going to hear a couple people hear about them talk about this, and then I'm gonna let them share what they got, see what they got to say, and then I'll share my thoughts.
No, but riddle me this: when did life become so goddamn expensive, and it's also impossible to have fun? We're in the process of buying a house, okay? We offered a bid that is very substantial, especially for first-time buyers. The house has been on the market for over a year now, so we went a little bit under the asking price, thinking, why not? Why could it hurt? It's been on the market for over a year. Tell me why. The listing agent comes back to us and says that there are now 6 bidders involved. Not only do we have a bidding war going on for a house that is absurdly expensive, but we also are planning to go on a family trip to Orlando.
So let me talk about obviously when it comes to housing, man. It's supply and demand, right? And that's just basic economics. I remember even the process when we were looking for a home. It's just the fact that there's obviously not enough supply of homes, and we got a lot of people looking for homes. That's just going to drive up the price, and you're going to be in a bidding war for a lot of these things. And even the fact that they've increased the interest rate, it still hasn't deterred people from purchasing homes. If anything, it stopped people from actually selling homes, because there's a lot of people that probably want to sell their homes, but they don't want to lose. They're right now they're in a 3% interest rate. And they don't want to sell that home from their 3% interest rate and then move into a house and buy another house that's 7%, right? That just doesn't make sense. So a lot of people are like waiting, holding back from selling their properties because the interest rates are so high. So therefore, there's a shortage in houses available, which is going to make the demand of these properties go up. So if you're looking for a home right now, it's going to be tough. Like, you're going to be in bidding wars, finding a house that you're going to like without having competition with other people competing. It's going to be kind of difficult. So yeah.
This weekend, hopefully. I don't know. We were thinking of going to Universal Studios. Let's go. It is almost $200 to get into Universal Studios. And on top of that, it is spring break, and the lines are ridiculously long everywhere you go. It's just madness. So I don't even know if going to Orlando is even an option anymore. That's fun sucker number 1. Fun sucker number 2 is a cocktail bar that me and my husband like to go to. It is great. They have great cocktails, but it's also impossible to find a ticket. The second that it goes on Resi, they're sold out. Like, I don't know who the hell buys these tickets, but they are literally sold out the second they go online. We were lucky enough to find a ticket, and guess what? We can't even go because our plans changed. The really cute part about everything is that they don't even accept cancellations. I don't know. Sorry for this rant, but this is just like, this is the new America. Like, it's unattainable, unaffordable, and unfun.
All right. So for a lot of people watching that video, watching that clip, I'm sure a lot of people will say, all right, these are first world problems, right? You're complaining about not being able to go to a Disney World or Disneyland, whatever she said, or going to some a bar or a concert, whatever she said. And there's people out here struggling to put food on the table, pay their mortgage and their rent. So people are obviously, not a lot of people will be sympathetic to what she's got to say, right? And that's what she needs. That's what you need to understand. Like, if you're looking to have fun, things are going to be a lot more expensive, right? Because that's not a necessity, right? That's a luxury, right? You don't need these things. What's important, obviously, is putting a roof over your head, food in your belly, clothes on your back. Like, these are the important things. And as long as you got these things covered, that's the most important thing. So all that extra stuff, yeah, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. It's tough. Obviously, she's probably not struggling that much, because if she's complaining about, going on trips and not being able to afford, about bars being more expensive, then obviously she's not worried about having bills paid, her regular bills paid. But for a lot of people, hey, you wanna have fun, it's gonna cost you money. I think a lot of people are realizing that, especially in today's economy where you got to cut back. right? You got to make sure you're prioritizing what's important. Going to all these trips and other stuff, just not important right now, right? You got to put those on the back burner, or you got to make sure that you're budgeting for those things if that's what you want to do. But for a lot of people, when you hear that, yeah, everything is more expensive. Every sees that, even traveling is more expensive, and that's just the way the economy is right now. So yeah, so I got one more video, and it's a little different. It's not about she's gonna just explain how everything is just much more. Obviously, everything is more expensive and unaffordable. So let's hear what she has to say.
You know, I'm a millennial who grew up hearing that if you went to school, if you got a good job, and you stop eating avocado toast and buying coffee every day, that you will be able to afford a middle class lifestyle. And I'm talking about like maybe owning a home and vacations and things like that. I don't buy coffee. I don't buy avocado toast. I only eat out maybe once a month, sometimes twice. And by that, I mean that I go to a taco truck in the corner. And I'm so broke AF. I'm getting my stuff ready to go do my taxes tomorrow. And this is the most money that I ever made in my life. I've never made this much money before. But you couldn't tell because I'm still living paycheck to paycheck. And I have a budget. We have one car in my family.
So, and this is the thing, if you're someone that has a budget, right? I mean, it's straight math. Like I always say this, right? It's just math. If you got a budget, all you're doing is making sure, all right, what is your income? What's the money coming in, right? That's easy. Whether you got one or two jobs, probably no more than that. I don't know what she does for a living, but all it is just, okay, what's your income? And then you list down all your expenses. If that expense part is more than obviously your income, then clearly you're living above your means, right? Now, obviously, if it's less and you probably don't have that much discretionary income, then that's the most you can do. And if you strip down your expenses to the bare bones and you made sure to rip out all the expenses that you don't need, and you're still living paycheck to paycheck, then obviously you have an income issue. Right now, whether you have to get a second job, do the side hustle, start a business where you can increase your income, or maybe develop more skills where you can make more money within the current industry that you're in. These are the things you have to do because, like, obviously, inflation is more expensive. Everything is more expensive. So if you've gotten your expense, if you have your expenses down to the bare minimum and you've stripped away everything that you don't need, then you clearly have to find a way to increase your income, right? That's the issue, right? It's a very simple thing, just budgeting, making sure that you're spending less than you make, right? It's simple. And like I said, she has a budget, so I mean that's the good thing. I'm not sure how she manages that budget, but it should be clear and simple. Like, what if you have a spreadsheet and you know exactly your income and expenses, you should have an idea of the issue and why you're still living paycheck to paycheck. So let's hear what else she has to say.
We don't go on vacations. Again, I eat out maybe once, sometimes twice. If we go to a taco truck and maybe to like a mom and pop's restaurant close to us. I go to Target once a month for the essentials, and sometimes I throw in like a $5 thing for my daughter so she can play with, and an extra big box of Cheez-Its for my son, and those are like little luxuries for the month. I don't have student loans. I don't go crazy buying things that I don't need. It's very frustrating, and I know how to survive with little because I grew up with almost nothing, so I know how to stretch $1. For example, today we ate enfrijoladas because we cut meat out of our grocery budget because we just couldn't afford to buy a bunch of meat. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, I worked a lot this past year to make this much money. And I have nothing to show because I'm feeling just as broke as I did when I was 19 working as a waitress. Okay, rant over.
And yeah, and that's how inflation works, right? Inflation is a hidden tax. She says this is the most amount of money she's making. Like, I'll take her word for it. Hopefully I'm gonna take her word for it that she's managing her money properly. But that's how inflation works, right? Like, inflation is making everything more expensive. So if your income is increasing, maybe 3-4%, what it is, but then you have inflation increasing more than that, then it's still gonna feel like nothing is being accomplished, like you're not doing anything. And for me, this is why for me, like, what I understand is, and this is why for me, and this is just me personally, like why I I prefer entrepreneurship, starting a business, because I just like the fact that I can increase my income exponentially, right? Especially, of course, with a job, if the most you can make is what, 3% raise if you go to your boss and ask for that raise, or maybe unless you have a high paying job, it's very difficult to increase your income that can outpace inflation. Inflation is, and especially when you got the government printing money the way they do, it's going to make it hard for you to keep pace, right? That's why everything is more expensive. You got the homes that are expensive. Everything is more expensive. You're trying to have your wages keep up with inflation. It's very difficult. And for me, it's just like, all right, knowing that you have an irresponsible government that's going to continue to print money the way it is, and understanding that it's going to be hard for any job to just keep up with that pace unless you have a high paying job. For me, my best bet is just taking control over my money, starting a business, and having control over how much money I can make, year over year. And for me, that's my goal. That's what I want to do. And I think for a lot of people, I think people have to find a way to increase their income, because it's very difficult to just keep pace with a regular job, right? And like I said, I'm banking on the fact that she's probably managing her money properly. And she said we, so I'm guessing maybe she has a husband or a partner with her. But yet you're still living paycheck to paycheck, right? Because it's just simple math. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, then obviously the math is just not working, and you have to do something about that. It's either you're spending too much money, or you're just not. You have to find a way to increase that income. And for me, that's, I think, in order to do that, I think the best bet is obviously business. Right? For me, that's the best way to increase your income, unless you have a high paying job. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button and share. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe, right? So guys, take care. Have a good one. Later.